Okay, this is a message to Mandy and the kids, mostly about about Richard and just the things that he meant to me. Not so much, I'm not going to say how I feel about him, but I'm just going to say what he did for me. First of all, what I loved about Richard was we never had a conversation that was easy. Let's put it that way. It was always challenging. It was never cocktail chatter. Nothing that didn't matter. And I love that about him because whenever we had a conversation, I had to think. I had to be on my game because he wouldn't accept a standard answer, and you could never be fine with Richard. You had to give exactly what you were feeling and how you were feeling. And I like that. But what I enjoyed most was how he put people first. Things weren't important. He had nice things, but that wasn't important. And you could feel that in what he did. Having a lot of money wasn't important. It was people and how he treated people and what he did for people constantly. We had a day where he was here living with us, and I was washing the car, and he thought, well, maybe I should wash the car too because Scott's washing the car. And he said, he finished washing the car and I was finishing mine. I was all proud of my car and how pretty it looked. And I said, don't you feel good? And he says, well, I kind of feel like I just wasted a whole lot of time washing a car when I could have been spending time talking to you or doing something with my family. And that really hit me. But from then on, whenever I'd wash the car, he'd be with me just talking to me. And he'd find me outside and come and just sit and talk to me while I washed the car. And they became kind of magic moments of car washing, but it gave it a different meaning. And to this day, I get a little bit of that when I wash the car because I remember him taking time with me. I loved how he just wanted to spend time with people. He'd just come and sit, and we'd sit in the room and just talk. And again, nothing, no TV, no entertainment, just talk. Just get information from each other, just share information and kind of just love each other. And I thought that was amazing. He used to live on what he had. He didn't have a whole lot of savings, didn't have the huge bank account. He did it on occasion, but he figured out a way to spend it. Where I spent my time trying to build this money and buy houses and have security and have everything that I needed so I could see it and touch it. And everything that Richard needed, he didn't have to see and touch. He could touch, I should say. It wasn't something, it was just people. It's what he felt around him, and that's all he needed. Didn't quite understand him in a lot of cases. It was different, but I used to think, what would Richard do in some situations? And in many situations, I still do. What would he do? Because he and I thought differently. Neither of us was wrong, but we thought completely differently. And when you put the two of us together, we were pretty powerful. And I really loved that part of him. And talking on the phone even, anytime that we'd get a chance, we would just share these interesting insights. Time equals people for him. Some people say time equals money. For him, it was always time equals people. No matter what, if he had a chance, he was going to spend time with people. Not time making money, not time doing things. He'd get into his times when he would do his software, but people were still the most important thing to him. What I loved was some of the experiences that we got to share. And so I have to look at gifts that Richard gave us, gave me especially, but because I get so few gifts in my life that I need, and he took care of gifts that I needed. One of the gifts was a phone call from him saying, can you and Sharon come to India? There's a bunch of kids that need your help. And that was a what would Richard do, because we both jumped on an airplane and flew to India with no idea what we were getting into, and just trust and faith in him. And ended up taking care of hundreds, the honor of taking care of hundreds of kids at Hebron Orphanage, and partnering with Mandy and Richard, and just being free to take care of somebody that could never ask for our help even. That was just so much magic for us. Another gift was one day he called and said, I want to start a business in the United States. And he says, I need to find a place somewhere to live. And I said, come live with us. And he did. And it was a time that the whole family, the whole Swanell family and Rankin family got to be together. And it was short moments that we did it, but it was just, again, it was magic. And what a gift that he would think to honor us, to come stay with us, of everyone he knows in the world. Another gift that I got more recently was I got, as I called it, stuck in Germany because of this volcano that went off in Iceland. And the plan, of course, was to head south to avert the volcano, but I decided to go see Richard and Mandy and just head south and hope they were in Switzerland, and figured I'd go stay with them for a little bit. That's one of the biggest gifts I've ever gotten, because I got to spend 3 days with them, including and thank you, Mandy, but my 12-and-a-half-hour drive to Spain and your 12-and-a-half-hour drive back to get me to an airplane, to get me out of the country. But what a magic moment that was. None of us knew, and yet it was just supposed to happen. So we got a little bit of time together, a little more time. And then you took me up a mountain to have dinner. We froze up there with our little barbecue on the picnic table, with overlooking the mountains of the Switzerland, and it was kind of it was just magic time. So I don't want to say that I know what Richard would do in any case, but I do think about, or hope to think about, what would Richard do, and I'll keep that with me forever. I hope you're all doing well. We're sorry we're not there, but our hearts are with you and our prayers are with you. And I miss my brother.